Hi guys, today I will be sharing how to make Sylvana or Sylvana Bites. For the ingredients, we need 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of oil, 4 egg yolks, half a cup of water, 3 drops of purple food coloring, 3/4 teaspoon of ube flavoring, 1 and 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of sugar, 2.5 tablespoon of ube halaya. If you don't have ube halaya, you can skip that out. Just use ube flavoring, and 1 and 1/4 cup of cake flour. So to begin, combine the cake flour, the baking powder, and the salt. Give it a mix and set aside. In a bowl, whisk together the egg yolks and the sugar. Whisk this until the mixture is light pale yellow. Anyway, the ingredients will be listed in the description box below. To this, we're going to add the oil and then the water. Add the ube halaya. Again, if you don't have this, you don't have to put this. Just use ube flavoring. So just keep on whisking until it is well combined. Now we're going to sift in the dry ingredients. Using a spatula, mix until everything is well combined. At this point, we can add the ube flavoring. I'm using 3/4 teaspoons, so that's 1 teaspoon, but I didn't fill it up to the top. Then add 3 drops of peripheral food coloring. We need to make this ube bright because this will coat the Sylvana Bites. For the meringue, we need 1/4 cup of cream of tartar, half a cup of sugar, and 4 egg whites. So to begin, just beat the the egg whites using an electric mixer. To this, add the cream of tartar once the egg white is frothy. Then gradually add the half a cup of sugar. Once the sugar is all in, continue beating until we reach the stiff peak stage. Now that we reached the stiff peak stage, we're going to combine the meringue and the cake batter in 2 or 3 additions using the folding method. By the way, your oven should be preheated at 160 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now we're going to transfer these into a cake pan lined with parchment paper at the bottom. My cake pan is 10 by 3 inches in diameter. Then bake this in a preheated oven again at 160 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 35 minutes, or until when you insert a skewer in the middle and the skewer comes out clean. And this is what it looks like after baking. Set this aside. 5 egg whites, 3/4 cup of cashews, half a cup of sugar, and half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. So we're going to crush the cashews. I used food processor to do this process, or you can just use a knife. So again, we're going to make the meringue. So using an electric mixer, beat the egg whites until it is frothy. And add the cream of tartar. Then gradually add the sugar. Once the sugar is all in, continue beating until we reach the stiff peak stage. Once the stiff peak stage is achieved, we're going to add the cashews in 2 additions. Using the folding method. Your oven should be preheated at this time at 150 to 155 degrees Celsius. And then I'm going to put this in a piping bag without any coupler or piping tip. I just snip the end of the piping bag. And then I'm piping a small amount of the meringue. So it doesn't have to have a precise size. Then we're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 150 to 155 degrees Celsius. First for 20 minutes and then turn off the oven and leave the meringue in the oven for 15 minutes. If it's still not crunchy, bake it again for 15 minutes. Then turn off the oven. Again, you have to keep on baking and turning off the oven until the meringue is crunchy. So there's no specific time on how long we can bake it. We know that it's ready if the sylvanas is coming off the parchment paper easily, just like this. Half a cup of water, half a cup of butter, 3 egg yolks, half a cup of sugar, and half a teaspoon of ube flavoring. So I'm going to make this process easy because I've done this recipe before. So combine the sugar and the water and let it boil for about 5 to 7 minutes. We need to have this on a hard boil stage. Now in a mixer, beat the egg yolks continuously while the sugar is cooking. Sugar is ready, take it out of the heat and immediately add the sugar mixture into the egg yolks while the mixer is still mixing so we don't curdle up the egg yolks. So here I'm adding the boiling hot sugar mixture or sugar syrup. The sugar syrup must be really hot so it cooks the egg yolks without curdling. I will explain in the description box how to know when the sugar syrup is ready. So now we're going to beat this until the mixture cools down completely. Once the mixture cools down, we can slowly add the butter. Here, as you can see, I'm adding the butter now. I'm not doing a complete tutorial on this icing because I've done this icing twice now in my video, sylvanas and tribal. It's the same ingredients, only I cut it in half. At this point, I'm going to stop the mixer and I'm going to add half a teaspoon of ube flavoring. And our icing is ready. Now, using a food processor, we're going to crumble the cake. So this will be the crumbs that will cover the sylvanas. So get one part of the meringue and we're going to put icing on the top. Then we're going to sandwich it with one part of the meringue. Then put icing around or cover the whole entire meringue with icing. Just like this. I hope you can see it or you get the idea. And then roll the meringue bites into the ube crumbs. The process is quite messy, but it's worth it. Do it again. Get one part of the meringue. Sandwich it. Put some icing outside the meringue. Then roll this into the cake crumbs. Easy. Continue doing this until you finish up with all the Sylvana Bites. And this is the finished product. This is really good, but one advice, when you make this, don't eat it straight away, because when you bite into this, it will split straight away. The meringue will split straight away. Wait at about 2 to 3 hours before eating this, and it will be perfect. This is fresh. When I bite this fresh, I'll show you what it looks like after a day. It's perfect to eat after about 2 to 3 hours, and this is after a day. The meringue is a little bit softer. You have to put this in the fridge. This is so good. I can guarantee that you're going to love this. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!